Hey there. Something weird has been happening on the screens we stare at all day, every day. It's a subtle change, but it's a big deal. Today, we're going to investigate the case of the cluttered menus.
So let me ask you something. Have you noticed this? When you click File or Edit lately, does it just feel crowded? Like there's a whole lot more visual noise than there used to be? If you felt that, trust me, you're not imagining things. It's a real trend and it's taking over.
So what exactly is going on here? Well, icons are taking over. More and more, developers are just sticking an icon next to every single item in a menu. Think about something like Google Sheets. You open a menu and you're just slammed with this wall of little pictures next to the words. And it might seem helpful at first glance, but a lot of the time it just makes your brain work harder to find what you're actually looking for.
And this really gets to the heart of it, right? It comes down to two totally different mindsets. On one side, you've got thoughtful design. The designer asks, does this little picture actually make things clearer? Will it help someone work faster? But on the other side, well, it's more like filling in a spreadsheet. It's just, does this menu item have an icon yet? No? Okay, slap one on there. One is about helping the user, the other is just about checking a box.
For decades, if you wanted to find the gold standard for clean, minimalist, user-friendly design, you'd point straight to Apple. Their menus were legendary for being simple, just clean text, easy to scan. They were the poster child for that thoughtful approach. But, well, let's just say, with the latest macOS, things have taken a sharp turn.
All right, let's dive in. We're going to take a quick tour of what's happening inside the new menus on macOS. And I'm going to warn you, once you see these little inconsistencies, you are never going to be able to unsee them.
Okay, first stop, the Safari menu. Take a look at this. The settings item gets a little gear icon. Fine, that makes sense. But right below it, in the exact same group, Privacy Report has nothing, no icon. Why? There's literally a dedicated icon for the Privacy Report in other parts of the app. There's just no clear logic for why one gets an icon and the other doesn't.
Now let's jump over to the File menu. This is where it starts to get visually wobbly. See how some groups of items have icons and they're indented a little bit, but then other groups have no icons and they're not indented? It creates this weird misaligned look that's actually kind of hard to scan with your eyes.
And oh, it gets worse. Over in the View menu, things really go off the rails, because here you don't just have icons, you also have check marks next to things to show if they're turned on or off. So now you have two different symbols, an icon and a check mark, right next to the text, basically fighting for your attention and completely messing up the alignment. It's a mess.
So, let's just recap the madness. In a single menu, in a modern app, you can have 4 different things going on at once. You've got plain old text, you've got text with toggles, you've got text with icons, and then the final boss, you've got text with both icons and toggles. This isn't making anything simpler. It's just adding layer after layer of visual confusion.
But, okay, let's be fair for a second. It's not all bad. I'm not saying icons in menus are evil. In fact, when they're used the right way, they can be unbelievably helpful. The secret is all about having a clear purpose.
And here's the perfect contrast. On the left, you've got that cluttered Safari menu that just adds noise. But look at the right. This is the Finders menu for tiling windows. These icons are brilliant. They instantly show you a spatial action, how your window is going to snap to the screen, way faster than reading tile window to left of screen. That's a good icon. It does the work so your brain doesn't have to.
Okay, so this is where the story gets really juicy. Because this whole new cluttered approach, it isn't just a random choice. It is a direct contradiction of Apple's own very clear, very public design advice that they've been giving for years. Just listen to this. This is a direct quote from Apple's official design rulebook from 2005. Don't use other arbitrary symbols in menus because they add visual clutter and may confuse people. They literally called it visual clutter confusion. Does that sound familiar? They're describing the very problem they've now created. And this slide? Well, this is the punchline. On the left, you see the picture from Apple's old guide showing designers exactly what not to do. A menu just jammed with random icons. And on the right, that's a menu from today's macOS. They are almost identical. Apple has become the cautionary tale they wrote themselves.
So where do we go from here? Because this isn't just about Apple's menus, right? This is about the future of the software we all use every single day.
The really big deal here is that when a design leader, a company everyone looks to like Apple, goes all in on this put an icon on everything idea, It sends a message to the entire industry. It makes it so much harder for other designers to push back and make the case for that clean, simple, thoughtful design that actually helps us focus.
Which leaves us with a pretty big and kind of worrying question. Is this just the new normal? Are we stuck on this path where every menu, every app is just destined to get a little bit busier, a little more noisy, and a little harder to use?
Honestly, after looking at all this, I think there's only one thing left to say. Send help.